Editor's note: be advised this article contains details that some readers may find disturbing. Fort Lauderdale, Florida jurors in the penalty trial of Florida school shooter Nikolas Cruz viewed graphic video Tuesday of him murdering 17 people as he stalked through a 3-story classroom building at Parkland's Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School 4 years ago. The video, compiled from 13 security cameras inside the building, was not shown to the gallery, where parents of many of the victims sat. Shown later to reporters, the compilation depicts Cruz crouching and stalking in a left-handed shooter's stance, firing at anything that moves, down the halls and into classrooms. He shoots many of his victims at point-blank range, going back to some as they lay wounded on the floor to kill them with a second volley of shots. In one segment, athletic director Chris Hickson bursts through a door to confront Cruz, but is wounded and falls. He crawls behind a pillar. Cruz kills him with a blast as he passes. The 12 jurors and 10 alternates stared intently at their video screens as it played. Many held hands to their faces as they viewed the 15-minute recording, which has no sound. Some started squirming. One juror looked at the screen, looked up at Cruz with his eyes wide, and then returned to the video. Cruz looked down while the video played and did not appear to watch it. He sometimes looked up to exchange whispers with one of his attorneys. The video was played over the objection of Cruz's attorneys, who argued that any evidentiary value it has is outweighed by the emotions it would raise in the jurors. They argued that witness statements of what happened would be sufficient. Circuit Judge Elizabeth Scherer dismissed the objection, saying a video that accurately reflects Cruz's crimes does not unfairly prejudice his case. Prosecutors are using the video to prove several aggravating factors, including that Cruz acted in a cold, calculated, and cruel manner. Cruz, 23, pleaded guilty in October to 17 counts of first-degree murder, and 17 more counts of attempted murder for those he wounded. The jury must decide if he should be sentenced to death or life without parole for the nation's deadliest mass shooting that was weighed by a jury. Later during Day 2 of the trial, jurors heard testimony from Christopher McKenna, who was a freshman during the February 14, 2018, shooting. He had left his English class to go to the bathroom and exchanged greetings with 2 students, Luke Hoyer and Martin Duque, as they crossed paths in the first-floor hallway. McKenna then entered a stairwell and encountered Cruz assembling his AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. Cruz, who had been expelled from Stoneman Douglas a year earlier, had come onto campus through a gate that had been opened for the end of the school day in about 20 minutes, carrying the gun in a bag. He said, "Get out of here. Things are about to get bad," McKenna recalled. McKenna sprinted to the parking lot as Cruz went into the hallway and began shooting. McKenna alerted Aaron Faze, an assistant football coach who doubled as a security guard. Faze drove McKenna in his golf cart to an adjacent building for safety, and then went to the 3-story building McKenna fled from. By then, the sounds of gunfire were already ringing out across the campus. Faze went in and was fatally shot immediately by Cruz, who had already killed Hoyer, 15, and Duque, 14, and 8 others. Cruz then continued through the second floor, where he fired into classrooms but hit no one. When he reached the 3rd floor, the video shows, Cruz found students and teachers in the hallway, preparing to evacuate. He fired at them as they tried to run away. 2 girls, 18-year-old Meadow Pollock and 14-year-old Cara Loughran, fell wounded. He shot them again as he passed. Peter Wang, 15, fell mortally wounded by the door. Jamie Gutenberg, 14, made it through the stairwell door before she fell. Cruz would soon run past their bodies, out onto the athletic fields and mingle with the fleeing students, speeding past 2 girls carrying Valentine's Day balloons. He would be captured about an hour later in a neighborhood 3 miles away. The jurors also heard testimony from English teacher Dara Haas, in whose classroom 3 students were killed and several wounded when Cruz fired through a window in the door. The sound was so loud. The students were screaming, said Haas, who wept and dabbed her eyes with tissue as she testified. She thought it might be a drill, but then she spotted the body of 14-year-old Alex Schachter, who had been fatally shot at his desk. "That's when I saw it wasn't a drill," she said. 2 14-year-old girls also died in the classroom, Elena Petty and Alyssa Alhadef. When police arrived and evacuated her students, Haas said she did not want to leave, but officers convinced her. "I wanted to stay with the students who couldn't go," she said, referring to Schachter, Petty and Alhadef. One student in her class, Alexander Dworet, said he originally thought the loud bangs were the school's marching band, but then he felt a hot sensation on the back of his head where he had been grazed by a bullet and I realized I was in danger. He and other students scrambled away from the window, using Hass's desk as a barrier. Dworet's 17-year-old brother, Nick, was across the hall in his Holocaust studies class. Cruz fired into that classroom, too, killing him.